Where will you stay when you're solo traveling? It's particularly important when you're by yourself because you want a good location. You want people to help you if you have questions, especially when you don't know the language. So here are my tips and what I've found after 19 years of solo travel. And I've got to say, just in the last year, I've realized that I've been going to Europe every year, and I'm finding that not in southern Italy, not in Sicily, but any other place, there's no regard for you finding the place, reaching the owner, telling you about the Wi-Fi. I've never seen this coffee machine before. Could you tell me how to use it so I don't break it? Where is the bed? It was in the wall. Nothing about pushing a button was anywhere. Just a picture of the bed that was not in the apartment. So here are my tips. One thing you can do is, if you're finding it difficult to locate an apartment to stay in, just give that up and find a nice hotel that's not too exorbitantly priced, because here's what you're going to get. Like, I just decided this myself. For Bordeaux, France, I wanted to be in the historic central location, walk everywhere. That was very important to me. Second, I want somebody at the desk when I get there, because every single apartment that I've tried to find in France, en français, that wasn't a hotel room, I couldn't find. It had hokey instructions for the keys. Go to this bike that's parked at the corner of these two streets, I am not kidding, and get the key to your apartment, and then walk up skinny steps with no help, no elevator, in the dark, because I don't know where the light is. So it's like no customer service whatsoever. So that's happened a number of times, not just once, like over and over and over again. So if you're the only one moving your luggage, you don't have any help, you don't know where the street is, you've never been there before, you don't know the town, you're just coming in cold. So what I've decided is, even though it was for 5 days, usually I would get an apartment for the amount of time, I thought two things: central location, and also everyone that wrote a review, and there were hundreds of them, mentioned how good the staff was. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to book there. And already I've gotten answers to my questions, very polite, telling me yes, confirming I can get the kind of room I want. I'm asking how to get from the airport to the hotel. See, what a lot of people won't tell you and don't rent apartments like this, the COVID thing made everybody lazy, except for people I meet in southern Italy who are so nice. They always meet me in person. They show me how to use things. They're very proud of their property, but I haven't found that anywhere else. A couple of places in Mexico were good, but they didn't mention the 24/7 dog barking or the construction on the other side of a common wall. And that was an apartment that I really had to move out of because it was too noisy. I couldn't sleep. So you shouldn't have to pay for that if you're traveling. You shouldn't. I mean, if you want to live there, that's great, but don't think you can rent out an apartment and have 24/7 noise constantly and have someone pay you for it. Like, we have to stop giving our money to lodging and accommodation that really doesn't give a crap about anything but the money. And you can figure that out. So what I decided, I was really having a hard time finding a place in Bordeaux, and then finally I thought, I'm gonna go for the good location, even over the fact that some people mentioned the Wi-Fi wasn't that great. I thought, no, I'm gonna come from the airport. I want to be delivered with help if someone needs to help me to get to the place. And I want to be welcomed when I get there. So you might want to, if you're just starting solo travel, to not take on getting an apartment. And I've done it countless times. I don't even know how many times I've done it, where I've been wandering around neighborhoods, going to the wrong buildings, and gotten no response from the owners. Doesn't matter if you find it or not. They got their money. It doesn't matter. And I think that's a really bad attitude. If you're going to make money in the hospitality sector, if you want to do any other industry, you're going to stand out if you treat people nicely. And those are the kind of people that I'm happy to pay, because they want you to have a nice experience, and they're not mad at you for coming to their country and spending money. Like, no, I don't need to do business with people like that. So I just wanted to give you that caveat. If you're finding it hard, it is much more of a challenge to get an apartment than a hotel room. So just like I did the other day, I just gave up and said, you know what, this sounds good. If I want to change my mind, I can change it closer to the day. This is for April, the first week of April. But I needed to secure something, and I wanted it to be in a central location. So you just have to decide what's important to you for your lodging. Do you want to be near a grocery store? Do you want to be near public transport? See, for me, I like to be in the downtown areas because I want to walk to the train and the bus and the ferry and have those options, because I don't rent cars anymore. In Europe, I don't want to drive. I want to relax. If I want to stop and have a glass of wine and just take forever, I don't want to have to worry about where I've parked. The parking costs are really high in Europe, and you don't have many options for parking, and you can very easily get a ticket. So you have to be careful with that. And then the other thing that I've heard from people that rent cars is that, they're constantly being told that they crashed something and they didn't. And so there's insurance issues and stuff. And I don't need that. So you have to decide what is important to you. Like, I don't really want to be so far out of the center that I've got to be on the metro for half an hour to get anywhere or see anything. I've done it and I don't like it. I rented it wasn't rented. I was doing a timeshare, and I had to wait like 2 years to get this place in Grand Cayman, and it was way the hell out, so far from the downtown, miles and miles. I just didn't think it would be that far. And there was not really a way to get into town, so I had to rent a car. And that was expensive in Grand Cayman, and I would have preferred not to. So the thing is, decide what's important to you. A lot of people don't want to drive when they're in Europe, for good reason, because the driving is pretty wild. I did do it in Spain once. I vowed to never do it again. And that was 17 years ago. I haven't done it again. So you have to decide what you want out of your adventure. Do you want to not drive? Do you want to take taxis? Europe has much better public transportation than the United States. So there's a lot you can do without driving. And if you don't like to drive, I highly recommend not driving. So if you see something that's really low cost for accommodation, it's because you're going to have to be far away from the center. And I'm happy to pay more or go in the off season so that I can spend less to get the historical, beautiful architecture location with a nice staff they're going to answer my questions and help me out. I mean, I need that. So that's what I need. And, I've stayed places where I didn't get the customer service, and there were other things about it that would make it okay. But really, for that circumstance, I've never been to that city before. It's a brand new city. I might need help. I might need recommendations, and I don't want to wonder where the location of the lodging is. That really is frustrating. Another thing that people do that own apartments this has only happened in France, is not give you the access until an hour before you get there. But I don't have Wi-Fi an hour before I get there, so I don't know until I'm right at the front door. And I'm not gonna move in 3 days at a time, so can you please just give me the access code? If you're gonna be all persnickety about not meeting me, maybe you should tell me how to get into the apartment. So I'm not renting those kind of apartments anymore. I'm not giving my money to people that won't help me find it, won't communicate with me, won't answer my questions, don't give me any help whatsoever. It's not why I travel. I travel so I can see new things, experience new cultures, and not be ignored by someone that I'm renting accommodation from. I'm not going to do it anymore. So, happy travels. If you need help with your itinerary, I'm happy to help you craft your best itinerary for your first solo trip or any kind of trip. So I'll see you in the next video. Like, share, subscribe if this is helpful to you.